Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people. Remember, you're good-looking, so always looking for and finding the good. And you found good in abundance because you tuned into Eye on Las Vegas, one of the most interesting places in the entire world. And we are blessed today, humbled and honored to have with us a really wondrous being. Again, everything you hear is about Las Vegas and behind the scenes, the insider tips, the stuff that you don't really see that all makes a difference. His name is John Ponder. We're going to speak with him in just a moment. I want to look at that smile on his face and flanked by flags and all kinds of good stuff. John is a madman. I'm going to tell everybody up front, he's a madman because MAD stands for make a difference.
There we go.
John makes a difference in the world, and he did it by making a difference in himself. Let's talk about Las Vegas for the moment, why we have this show. It's called Eye on Las Vegas. Could be either EYE, meaning looking up Las Vegas, or I, the person, Eye in Las Vegas. Las Vegas is unique in the world. Almost everybody in the entire world, the whole planet, has heard of Las Vegas. It's amazing. Okay, they think of it as a gambling place. They think of it as also a fun place. Think of it as a family place. The important thing is that 40 plus million people come through Las Vegas every year. To put that in perspective, that is the equivalent of the population of California, Oregon, and Washington State combined. And that's every year coming through Las Vegas. So this is a happening place. And I'm happy to say that I moved from California to Henderson, Nevada, which is just outside of Las Vegas itself, 17 miles from the Strip. And so we can see it, we don't feel it. And it's all an amazingly interesting place to be because of people. And the people we're going to talk today, these unique person, again, his name is John Ponder. He has a great middle name, Donier. Donier, which we might even talk about. So without more, I just want to say, first of all, John, it's an absolute honor, a privilege to have you here. I love your setting. If you're able to just listen to it, you'll hear John speak in just a moment. You're going to love him. If you're able to see us, and we have, thank God, hundreds of thousands of people who are watching. You see this beneficent, beautiful, bountiful, beloved face, a smile,
Wow.
flanked by flags, which talks about who he really is and how he cares. And I'm going to tell everybody with a big punch in the eye, I mean, in the good eye, John Ponder is a criminal. Actually, I'm going to say to him worse. John Ponder served in the prisons for 20 years. John Ponder was dumb, stupid. John Ponder pulled himself out of dumb and stupid and the prison system to become a shining light for himself, his family, and thousands and thousands and thousands of people who think they don't have hope. John brings hope. John, a pleasure to have you here. Good morning, beautiful being.
Yes, and it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so very much. I think that your energy is just completely contagious, and I think that I could just hang around with you all day long.
It's called the Barry effect, B-E. You want to be with Barry. Okay, let's just jump right in. And I'm going to ask you, we've talked a little bit before the show, and said, again, I've been following you for a while, even before I got to Las Vegas, because I'm deeply interested and involved with people who have been through the system. And the system is cruel. It punishes. It almost destroys. And the good news is that it destroys, if you let it, the ego, which allows the self, the good self, to come through. So, John, just talk to us. Tell us your story, of course, and give us what you call hope.
There we go. Well, again, thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you very much for those kind words that you shared. Even the stupid and making mistakes part of it, right? Because that's all part of my story. So if we want to start back at the beginning, I'm originally from New York. I grew up the product of a single parent home. You know, dad left her home at a very early age, leaving my mom raising 5 knucklehead boys and 1 knucklehead girl all by herself, right? So growing up in that kind of environment, my story is much different than stories that happen in other early communities. Without the father in a home, we turn to the streets at a very early age to kind of validate masculinity. And for me, the streets led me to the drugs, drugs led me to the gangs, gangs led me to the criminal activity. And that criminal activity led me to my very first set of handcuffs at the tender age of 12 years old.
Oh,
And life just kind of spiraled out of control from there.
so let's unpack a few things because let's be blunt. Everybody knows that people get involved with gangs and drugs, and it's not good. You know it intellectually. Most people don't spiral down to the point, like you said, handcuffs at a tender age of 12. I mean, that is enough, in my humble opinion, to put you on a path to obscurity and
Sure.
ruin. So tell us what it is that enabled you to get into a system that is demeaning and that you, John Ponder, I'm going to say big words here, you were able in a demeaning system to find meaning.
Sure.
How
Yeah.
did you do it?
Yeah, and absolutely. And let me first tell about that broken system that we're experiencing in prisons and jails across our country. At that early age, and when I was introduced to it, it had become like normal, acceptable behavior because my other three brothers that are older than me, they all been through the system too. So it was like a rite of passage for me. So in here, I wasn't even thinking anything was really wrong with it, right? So spiraling out of control, in and out of different juvenile systems, jails, prisons in the state of New York, here in the state of Nevada. But Barry, then I got stretched out in the maximum security United States Federal Penitentiary at the age of 37 years old. And I had a chance to look back over the course of those 37 years and came to the realization that not only had I ever accomplished anything of great significance, but I kind of left the path of destruction, destroyed the lives of people that I profess with my mouth that I love, and I destroyed my life too. So in that situation, I'm facing the potential of spending the next 23 years of my life in a federal prison, because the federal prison system, they go off of criminal history and your background and so forth and so on. So there's a potential that I could get 23 years in prison, and I am just absolutely sick. And for me, it was a faith experience. Right. Looking back over the last 37 years, I stood in that little holding cell before I went to go before the judge. And number one, I asked God to forgive me for everything that I did. And 100% he did. But then I asked him to come in, take over my life. I asked Jesus to be the Lord of my life. And he did. He took me in a 180-degree turn in the opposite direction. And I never looked back. Now, I still have to go to prison. I still got to go to a maximum security United States Federal Penitentiary. I didn't get the time that I could have got. But when I went to prison for the very last time, when I walked in there, I wasn't in prison, right? In here and in my heart, I went to Bible college. I went to business school. I went to, a psychology, studying human behavior, in an effort to understand why John Ponder did all those crazy things that I did. I wanted to understand, Barry, why people do what people do. And I cracked open the psychology of that. And oh my gosh, the light bulb started coming on. So I took a deep dive in that because I wanted to learn well. And it got so good to me that I just wanted to turn right back around and share with other people the things that I'm learning. And that's where Hope for Prisoners had come about.
I want to unpack a few things there. Again,
Yeah.
if you're listening to this, you should be stopping whatever you're doing and continue listening. I don't care if you're running, just stop for a bit, because it's the authenticity, the reality of what John is giving with and sharing with us. Share, by the way, John, is a great acronym. It stands for spreading happiness and rejuvenating energy.
Oh, I love it.
That's what you do. Well, we'll talk about that faith moment. If you, again, I urge you to be watching this because you got to see John's face.
Yeah.
He's not just that he's animated. And his face stands for finding what he does with it. It expresses his inner being.
Mm.
And when you tell us, again, I can't even imagine the idea of a holding cell in, you said, a U.S. federal penitentiary.
Yes.
To hear the door slam
Mm.
is one of the worst sounds you could ever experience. Am I correct on that?
Absolutely. Oh,
So, and
absolutely.
here you come at a moment, 37 years, there was something that happened. What is it? Literally, there was a moment where you said, John, or you heard a voice that said, John, I need your attention right now. And it's time to reflect and have faith. And as you said, ask God for forgiveness.
Absolutely.
And he did. He absolutely forgave you.
Yes. Yes, he did.
And that changed your mind, because it's the mindset, it's the attitude, isn't it? Isn't that the way of life? It depends on how you look at things. Like I said in the beginning of the show, what's a good looking person?
Right.
Always looking for and finding the good. You're
Absolutely.
a good looking person, John.
Oh, thank you so much. I think I'm going to keep you around, Barry.
Well, let's talk. I'm going to talk about faith for a moment. Faith
Right.
is an amazing acronym. It stands for finding answers in the highest.
Wow. Wow. That is so good, Barry. I am going to write that down.
I'll share with you again later, everybody. So, because we want to talk about you and the path. So now John enters prison, which people think is confining, and he's saying, "Hello, I was completely open because I was free.
Right.
I was freed from the chains of bondage of thinking I'm a criminal, thinking I'm cruel, and recognizing I can be blessed by the Lord."
Absolutely.
And now you share the blessing.
Yes, absolutely. Right.
So,
it's not only for me, it's to turn right back around and give it to other people. Right. And Barry, this is one thing I want to share with you is that in that moment, and I tell everybody it was 100% a God moment. But in that moment, and I think that we all experience this where we find ourselves in situations where we're saying that I know that I know that I know that life has to be more than what it was I've been living, right? Life has to be more than me coming in and out of these jails and prison systems. There's got to be more to life than that. There's got to be more to life than going before a judge with those butterflies in your stomach, and you have the potential of being sentenced for practically the rest of your life in prison. There's got to be more to life than that. There's got to be more to life than coming in and out of these drug houses, because I was addicted to everything known to man. If you can shoot it, I was shooting it, smoking it, I was smoking it, drinking, I was drinking, snorting, I was snorting, and I was going harder than paint. And this upcoming May, I will have been clean and sober for 19 years.
Wait a minute. I need to put you on pause for a moment. I want people to understand. First of all, how old are you now chronologically, John?
I am 58 years old.
Okay. So I'm going to make a statement. John tells everybody he's 58 chronologically. He is 40, 58, 9 to 40. You're 39 metabolically because you've been clean for 19 years.
Yes.
You are 28 in your mental acuity because you're now understanding the word more. There's more to life. There's more to life. There's more to life. Yes. And you are SOW 8. And John says, Barry, I love you. What's an SOW?
Yeah.
Sense of wonder.
Yeah.
You're an 8-year-old. Because only an 8-year-old can look around the world and say, wow, I need more. Dear Lord, I'm here to share. I'm here to give. I need to be the conduit of good, a child of God, 19 years clean in an environment that would challenge anybody. John, I love you.
I love you too, Barry.
Okay, we're going to do something right now. We have sponsors that love our show. We're going to show you. We We wouldn't have them on if we didn't vet them. We urge you to consider using the services. And I have a 10-second clip that everybody's going to watch and love. This is about Las Vegas from 1975. So we'll be right back after this message with John. Don't go away, because this is so powerful, positive, purposeful, and pleasant. Right back.
What if you could shop at your favorite local stores, swipe your current credit card, and get extra cashback rewards? And what if you could also have donations sent to your favorite cause at no extra cost to you? What if this amazing program was absolutely free and very simple to set up? Well, What If is here. Welcome to Einstein Cares, where your everyday shopping gives you and your favorite cause extra money. It's fast, it's easy, and effortless.
That was Las Vegas, 1975. We were in the year 2024, and we are with a man who has become a man. He was a boy, confused, raised in a difficult situation, succumbed. I'm going to ask you one difficult question, and then I want to talk about hope for prisoners in detail.
Okay.
Have you been able to reach your brothers?
Absolutely, 100%. And they are all clean and sober. They've all left that life, and with that being said, right, I like to use this statement that everybody in some way is a leader, because everybody in some way is being watched, right? So as I began to walk this walk out, and they began to see it, then there was this thing on the inside of them, because the majority of people, they really want to change, but they don't know how to do it, right? So when you live out this living example to give people a reference point in here that where they wanted to go their entire life, this is what it looks like, then they follow the lead.
There's a great phrase by a man named Dr. Albert Schweitzer. If you don't know it, you can look him up. Dr. Albert Schweitzer. He said, example is not the main thing in influencing others. It's the only thing.
Yeah.
Lead by example, which is what Hope for Prisoners is all about. I'm going to give you a wonderful acronym, John, for HOPE.
Okay.
Helping others progress every day.
That's so good. That is so good.
Helping others progress every day.
That's
Hope
right.
for prisoners. Okay. So you're clean. You're coming out. You've been in and out of prison, as you told me, in the installment plan for 20 years.
Right,
and
right.
you made a decision, because it starts with this. Life is a 3D process. First is decision.
Yep.
Second is discipline.
Yes.
And the third is determination. 3D. Life is a 3D process, right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So now you said, hey, I need to, not I want to, I need to share with others, because you're a leader.
Yes.
You don't want to do it just by talking. You want to walk the walk. So tell us what you got an idea, and you're going to say, I want to help other prisoners.
Right. Yeah.
Tell us.
Yeah. So what I tell people how Hope for Prisoners came about, it was a vision that God had impregnated me with, many years ago behind those 50-foot walls, right? Again, to turn right back around and help other people, right? So to make sure they're not staying where they are. So back in 2009, when I was released from prison, I started digging trenches in this beautiful city of Las Vegas, trying to put this all together, this thing called Hope for Prisons together. And so what we do is we work with men, women, and young adults that are exiting different arenas of our judicial system to provide the necessary supportive services to help them to successfully reintegrate back into their home, back into the workplace, and ultimately for them to be acclimated back into our community with an overall goal of them never, ever, ever reoffending again.
Okay, so you had a vision. You're digging ditches. you're sweating because it's hot in Las Vegas, even some other, not even just the summer. And you get a vision. Okay, well, lots of people have a vision. Okay,
Right.
John, how do you move from vision to helping reality? How do you
Yes.
do that? Well, tell us about the first 1 or 2 or 3 people that you actually did this with or shared this with.
Right. You know, one of the lessons that I had to learn is that, and again, this was a God vision. And if God gives you the vision, he will make the provisions, because I came home with literally $5 to my name. But again, and when the world around me was telling me no and slamming the door, I always held on to that yes that God gave me back in that prison cell. So we started working with people, like take, for instance, a dear friend, now Mario, who was arrested at 15 years old, did 17 years in prison, had come home, never worked a day before in his life. We wrapped our arms around Mario, sent him back to school, got him, you know, some jobs in between. But today, Mario is an electrician journeyman, right? Just bought a house. He's married now. And those are kind of success stories. That's a kind of potential that people have, right? That all you got to do is help them to tap into that, blow a little wind underneath their wings, and just launch them off into a brand new destiny of life.
John Ponder, you enable, you know, your last name, I just realized this. Ponder means to think.
Yes.
You know, it took you decades to recognize that your name means, say, hello, John, wake up. John, think.
Yes. Yes.
It's time to ponder. So
Right.
let's take a look. It's really nice to have the vision and to help Mario and other people. And in this case, Mario has not returned to the bad way. We'll call it the bad way.
Yes.
A lot of programs are out there. I don't think they succeed very much. They call recidivism rate. You know,
Yes.
people just go through.
Yep.
How do you do compared to other programs?
Yeah, so we are very encouraged, Barry, that you take a look at the national recidivism rate is north of 69%. Which
Wait a
means
minute. No, it means more. That's 69% of the people in any program go back to prison.
69% of the people that are released from our prison system in our country, within 3 years, they have reoffended, went back to prison. We are so grateful and just very encouraged that the people that we have the opportunity to work with that have been through the Hope for Prisoners mechanism is only 6% recidivism rate.
Wait a minute. You took the number 69 and you said, get rid of that 9.
Yes, absolutely.
You're 90% better than every program in the United States of America. So here's the simple question. Why are people not banging on your door and saying, okay, we need Hope for Prisoners in every community around the country?
Yeah, and we have been having the conversations about exporting the model that we built right here in Las Vegas, Nevada, to other jurisdictions around the country. We actually exported our model to the city of Milwaukee. It's standing up in the city of Milwaukee right now. It's not called Hope for Prisoners. It's called Partners in Hope.
Okay,
right? So
doesn't matter what they call it.
But we are having conversations with the city of Dallas, Memphis, Nashville, Atlanta, have been in some talks with Philadelphia and some other jurisdictions across the country. So the reason why we had gone to Milwaukee first is because there was an interest. I had flew out there to go speak, and I remember, never forget, I'm in a hotel room and I'm getting showered in the morning, getting ready to go speak at the event, and I made the mistake and turned on the morning news, and I'm watching the crime rate in the city. It was just atrocious. And then I had taken a deeper dive into it, and the state of Wisconsin has the highest African American arrest rate of any state in our country. And it broke my heart. And they literally had no reentry mechanism in the city of Milwaukee. And that was the reason why we started working with them, because it was such a need there.
Okay, I'm going to say again something I said earlier. John Ponder, I love you. Okay, let's talk about three things. We only have a few minutes left, and for this round, I'm going to be not little, I'm going to be very blunt on a couple of things here.
Yes.
So here we have a program that works. We can measure it. It works. Okay, at least Milwaukee. And you talked about African American because you are African American, and in the Black community, we need, in my humble opinion, like you said, leaders and examples. The Milwaukee Bucks are a famous team, basketball team. We need one or two people from Milwaukee Bucks to be on your team in Milwaukee, telling kids, this is the way. Get out of that stuff.
Absolutely.
So are we able to recruit athletes? Because let's be blunt, people look up to these crazy people. I'm sorry. People look up to athletes. No reason they should, because they're no smarter or better than anybody else. But they have fame, and fame can help. We need to get them involved. Can we do that?
Oh, absolutely. Right. And I'm glad you brought that up. Right. Because when you take a look at these leaders, right, they're natural born leaders anyway. Right. And we just want to make sure that they're leading people in the right direction. So have been having some conversation with some great leaders from all over the country to, pour into the vision and be a part of what it is that we do, Barry. In order to keep the engine running and be able to grow and scale, it takes funding for us to be able to do that.
Well, we will talk about that also. I also want to talk about one other thing here, and I think it's important to bring. No, I don't think. I know it's important to bring this up. John Ponder got a presidential pardon.
Yes.
Who pardoned you? Was it Joe Biden? No. Was it Obama? No. Who pardoned you?
It was President Donald J. Trump, the 45th president of the United States.
Because Donald Trump, literally, I'm crying because it's true. He cares. He really, fine. He was approached by other Kardashians and other people, and Matthew Charles, who I interviewed also on my podcast. He cares more. He did more for people who are incarcerated, and especially the Black community, than any other president. Am I correct?
Absolutely. You're 100% correct. And one of the things that I'm always thinking about when I think about the President Trump is in my very first meeting with him, because I was invited to the White House to talk about this criminal justice reform and so forth. And so I'm honored to be at the table. But I remember there was some things that President Trump said he was going to do in the areas of prison reform, reentry, and it was several other things that he listed, right? And the last thing that he said before he walked out of the room, he says, "Hey, listen, I heard about what you're doing in reentry in Las Vegas, right?" He says, "I heard about the partnership that you have with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. Your graduations are held there." He says, "I'm going to make it out there one day. I'm going to speak at one of your graduations." And I'm like, man, okay, this is a regular politician saying what politician says. But Barry, let me tell you something. Everything that President Trump promised on that day is exactly what it was that he did. The last thing was him to come out and speak at the graduation, and he did.
Well, I'm saying it, and I hope you will say it, and I hope President Trump hears it. We're here in Nevada to support you in your bid to become president of the United States again. We need it. The country needs it. We need not just prison reform. We need reform for people who are walking around who don't think they're in prison, and they really are.
Oh,
okay. John Ponder, we have literally only 23 seconds for this section of our work today. I'm going to ask you two quick questions. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Will you come back again?
Oh, absolutely. It would be my honor to come back and have a conversation with you.
Thank you. You have 19 seconds for this, wonderful John.
Yeah.
What's your most fervent desire?
My fervent desire is for people to understand that we America is a nation of second chances, right? I think that if you took a survey and asked whoever did not make a mistake, right? Whoever not did anything wrong, I don't think anybody can raise their hand. And when you're dealing with people who are formerly incarcerated, who have paid their debt to society and out in the community, truly fighting for a second chance, then we as a nation need to open up doors and afford people that opportunity.
Hundreds of thousands of people around the world are listening and watching. We urge everybody, share this with 5 people. I didn't say 50 or 100. You want to do that, it's up to you. 5 people so we can touch 1 million lives. John, when we do finish our work together, we do a hug. Are you ready for a hug? I'll tell you what it stands for.
Absolutely.
Heartfelt, unlimited giving.
That's
1,
right.
2, 3.
Barry.
Live exuberantly, spread the seeds of joy, happiness, peace, and love. Go mad. Go make a difference. John, don't go away.